everything, absolutely everything in this world, this day and age, costs money. It doesn't matter where you go. It's just some places it's cheaper, some places are more expensive, some places are extremely expensive. What's up, people? Welcome to my channel. Hope you're all doing amazing and on your way to success. Today we're going to talk about money, and it's going to be dedicated to those people that always keep saying that money is not everything and blah blah blah. Since money isn't everything, give me one of those because that is free and that really helps me out. And let's get started. Now, those people that say that money isn't everything most likely already has so much of it they don't care about it anymore. They don't have to worry about money anymore. And that's usually when you get to that point is when you start saying that money isn't everything, because then after that you start worrying about other things. You start worrying about your relationships, your family, your kids, and all that kind of stuff. But until you get to that point, you worry about money a lot, because money means a lot in our society. And there are also those people that have given up already on trying to make more money, and they just kind of settled for what they have, and that's their reality. So the truth is, money really isn't everything, because you also have family, you have friends, relationships, kids, all that kind of stuff, your health, all that stuff you cannot buy with money. But if you don't have money, what can you have in life? If you have no money, you're gonna be broke. Can you afford food for your family? At least decent food, right? I mean, maybe you can afford some junk food. Can you have good health? Even if you want to see a doctor, you have to pay money for that, just to examine and see how you're doing, how your well-being is. If you want to go to the gym, you have to pay money. Even if you want to build your own home gym, you still have to pay money. If you want to watch movies, you have to pay money, whether you're going to the movie theaters or whether you're paying for your Netflix monthly subscription. If you want to have a cell phone, internet, anything, cable, computer, and just everything in life requires you to have money. This is the time we're living in. This is the day in this day and age. Everything, absolutely everything requires money. For you to have fun, for you to have a girlfriend or boyfriend, you have to go out once in a while. You have to spend money. Even to have a job, to own a job, you have to pay money. You have to pay taxes, because the government is allowing you, right, to make money, and you have to give them a cut of that money, as that's their share for making everything possible, right? For you to make it safe for you to work and kind of be able to make that money. Even if you want to look decent, if you want to have a nice smile, you have to pay money for all those things. So everything, absolutely everything in this world, this day and age, costs money. It doesn't matter where you go. It's just some places it's cheaper, some places are more expensive, some places are extremely expensive. And even if you are one of those people that is able to live off of your own, like crops, you have a farm, you have your own animals, garden that you're feeding off of, you still have to pay property taxes, you still maybe have mortgage to pay for, you still have to pay for water, all that kind of stuff. There is still gonna be something that requires you to pay money for it. The list goes on and on forever. If you want to go to school, upgrade your education, or get new skills, you have to pay money for that stuff. If you want to take your loved ones on a vacation, you have to pay money. You can't do anything without money. So how can you say that money isn't everything, where without money you can't have anything at all in this world? We only don't care for money until we get to a certain age. For example, when we're born, we don't have to because our parents do that for us, but our parents have to have that money, our family, and if they don't have it, then we don't have it either. The only way to live for free is to be homeless, and that is not the way you want to live. Probably most people that are homeless, I don't think that they're really happy being homeless, and on top of that, they're still begging for money, because even homeless people need money. So even their life isn't free, because they still need to get food once in a while. They still need money. Everybody needs money. Even if you're homeless, you still need money. So that's the truth. There is no way to live for free. You just you can pick a lifestyle that's cheaper on a budget, or you can pick a lifestyle that is more expensive, more adventurous, more outgoing kind of thing. Now, if you have to pick between the two extremes, whether to be homeless or to be an entrepreneur and be independent, like financially independent, financial freedom, I would personally pick to be an entrepreneur, and that is actually the choice that I have made a few years back, because that lifestyle allows you, it opens up the doors for you to become financially independent. And if you're gonna ask me what do I prefer, to be a middle class, a homeless, or financially independent, obviously anybody would actually say financially independent, Anyone who wants to be financially independent. It's just the majority of people don't want to put in the work that is required for you to become financially independent, because it's a ton of work that has to be put into this. Everything requires a lot of work. Unless you're born into a rich family, and even those families, sometimes they make their kids work hard, which I respect. Those families that actually make their kids, they're rich, but they want their kids to know the worth of money. They want them to work regular jobs, work labor jobs, kind of to have a feel for it on how it is that other people make money, so that they understand that they're extremely lucky to have that, to be born into a rich family. But of course, unfortunately, most families, I believe, that are rich, they don't do that. Usually kids are spoiled as hell and they just out of control. But anyways, we're not talking about those, we're talking about money. So if you still think that money isn't everything, well, write in the comment below why you think that money isn't everything, and what can you really do without money. Can you really live your life without money? Can you really? No, you can't. Yeah, you don't have to chase money. You can survive on being middle class, just working minimum paying jobs. You can survive for sure. But again, you're going to be working your whole life just to sustain your regular, normal, everyday lifestyle, just so you can afford food, you can afford your mortgage or rent, your car payments, your gas, insurance, all that kind of stuff. And if you have kids, life only gets more and more expensive. If you are younger watching this, you have to realize that life gets more and more expensive by the day. Honestly, today you have no expenses. Next thing you know, you move out, you turn 18, you have to pay rent. Now, you don't only have to pay rent, it blows up. Suddenly you have rent, but then you have bills. You also have internet, cable, your own phone, your car payments, right? Because when you move out, your parents stop paying for all that stuff, and people don't think about that. It costs a lot of money to live on your own. And the older you get, the more money it costs to live, because then you start getting more payments, you start getting into more debt. And once you have kids, that's just crazy, because now you have to put your kids, you have to buy them new clothes every couple of months because they grow crazy fast, and you can't have them wear clothes that they grew out of already, because everybody's just going to make fun of them, and it's just not the way to raise your kids. You have to provide them with new clothes all the time until they finally stop growing, and that probably goes on until they reach the age of 18. So for the next 18 years, you're going to be paying a lot of money. Every year you're going to have to buy them clothes, new shoes. For them to go to school, it costs a lot of money, notebooks, pencils, pens, all that school supply stuff, new backpacks, all that kind of stuff. So it only gets more and more expensive. So it's up to you to make sure that you are keeping up with this, because life is expensive these days. And just look at how crazy expensive everything got over the last year. Just within a year, everything just quadrupled, tripled, I don't know, like just crazy expensive. Building materials went like 300% more expensive. The housing market is blowing up. It's crazy. It's still going up in price. The cars went up like 20% in price. Look at phones. You were able to buy a phone back in the day. Most phones, if you get a new plan, you would be able to get it for free. Nowadays, like $1,000 for a phone costs more than a computer, than a laptop. So again, what do you want to live? How do you want to live your life? Do you want to live paycheck to paycheck, just survive? Do you want to only have a couple thousand in your bank account, and then if something goes wrong, you have nothing to, you don't have a backup plan? You're gonna go broke, you're gonna have to go bankrupt or something like that? Or do you want to put in the effort, work for a couple of years really hard, really concentrate on your work, and then after a few years go on a whole different level? Or you just stay where you are and live there forever until you retire, and then struggle in your retirement, because retirement isn't gonna pay you much. You can look it up online. Retirement money, people get paid less than $1,000 a month. What can you do with $1,000, less than $1,000 a month? If you have a mortgage that you still didn't pay off, that's like $1,200 at least. If you're renting, these days rent, I think the cheapest rent, one of my employees actually is renting a place right now, and mentioned to me that that's gonna cost like $960 for a 2-bedroom, and that's here in Las Vegas. And I know that rent is just going crazy. When I was renting back in the day, I had to pay $600 for rent, and that was everything included, and that was a 2-bedroom. That was amazing compared to nowadays, right? That inflation is just ridiculous. You have to realize that there is enough money in this world for everybody. You just have to figure out a way to make that money. And working regular 9 to 5 is not that way. Because regular 9 to 5, unless you're working in a specialized field where you're making like $50 an hour, $40 an hour, that way you can accumulate more wealth and then you can invest that money into something else. But if you're making like $20 an hour, that's just enough to survive. $20 an hour these days is nothing, right? $30 an hour is decent, but again, that's just enough for yourself. Now, of course, if you have a partner and they're working as well, now you have a little bit more money, you have double income, that always helps. I know a lot of people that actually get together and they start living a better life because they have a partner that they can share those expenses with, because life is extremely expensive. But you don't need to be a millionaire to start making money or to be financially independent. All it takes is to be smart with your money. You have to be living on a tight budget for a little bit until you make enough, until you accumulate enough for like a good down payment for something, and then you make that investment. You invest your money, and when you invest it the right way, the smart way, into real estate, into some kind of property, into some kind of land, you can invest into a business, something, right? You can lend money the right way to the right people. Then you can create a source of passive income if you invest it the right way. Way too many people living life the wrong way because they just live paycheck to paycheck. They have a mortgage that they're paying off. They buy this huge house that they don't even need. They don't need that size of a house, and then they work the rest of their life trying to pay off that mortgage, and they are slaves to that house. When in reality, they could have just been, they could have bought like a small condo or a much smaller house that would have been much easier to pay off, and then with the remaining of the money, they could have bought another small house that they could be renting out, or they could buy a bigger house that they have and just split it, make it into a duplex, triplex, whatever, and rent out a portion of it to have a tenant that will help them pay off that mortgage and pay it off much faster. Because if you're making mortgage payments and then your tenant is giving you extra money on top of that, now you're not struggling anymore. Now you're not living paycheck to paycheck because those tenants are helping you out with paying your mortgage. Because if you're doing it right, it's gonna work out for you. But again, if you're buying something way too expensive and you're just gonna live the rest of your life working and being a slave to that mortgage, is that really a fun way to live? Like, what's the point of working 40, 50 hours a week every single week just to take 1 or 2 weeks off for vacation a year? That kind of sucks. To me, that really sucks. Because, I mean, I'm working really hard and I don't take too many vacations, but that's my choice. I'm hustling right now so that later on I can be financially independent. I'm still not financially independent. I don't think that I've made it yet, because if I leave, if I stop doing what I'm doing, everything stops. Everything is on me right now. And I haven't built it to the point where I can just step back and watch everything work without me. I have to be present. And until I build it to that level where I don't have to be here anymore, that's where I want to be. And I know that it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of stress, right? But I'm willing to put up with that because I know that in the long term, instead of working until I'm 65, 75, by the time it's time for me to retire, the retirement age is going to be like 85. I'm telling you. And it's crazy. It keeps going up. It's like they want you to work until you die, pretty much. And I know that doing what I'm doing right now will allow me to retire much faster, much sooner. So instead of working for the next 30 years, maybe I'll work for the next 10 years. It's still worth it. I'm going to have no life for the next 10 years, 5 or 10 years, but at least after that, I'm free and I'm still not too old, you know? I'll be in my 40s, but I'm not going to be 50 yet. And I still have a lot of time to enjoy, to still travel, because people in their 50s are still able to enjoy life. But once you get to your 60s and 70s, you're just too old. You don't care about shit like that anymore. You don't care about traveling. You don't care about, you know, partying and all that kind of stuff. Not that I care about partying anyways, but I do definitely want to travel, and I want to go hiking. I want to travel the world. I want to see places. And if I'm 60, you think I'm going to be, up for hiking? Hell no. This last thing on my list is going to be to go hiking when I'm 60. I'm pretty sure. Although I know some 60-year-old people are, pretty active and pretty good. Just remember that all the money isn't everything. Money is still required in this day and age for you to have a decent lifestyle. You can't have a life without money. That's the society, that's the world we are living in. And that's anywhere in the world. There's no place in the world where you don't need money. Everybody is hungry for it, and everybody needs it to survive, to afford the basic necessities of life. So when people say that money is nothing or money doesn't mean anything, that's just kind of, I don't know, that sounds dumb to me, to be honest, because you either have a lot of it, well, now you're just being, now you're just showing off. Now you're just kind of rubbing into people's faces, being like, oh, I have all the money in the world. Money doesn't mean anything. Be humble about it, but don't tell people that money isn't everything, because again, it isn't, but it's not like you can live without it. So I hope you found this video somewhat entertaining, but here's something that's free for sure. If you go down in the description below and find a link to sign up for Robinhood or Webull, you're gonna get free stocks by just signing up, and that's definitely free, and it's free money. So take advantage of that while it lasts. Also, thank you for watching. Thank you for being a subscriber if you are a subscriber, and if you are not, please become a subscriber. Hopefully you understand the importance of money now more than before you start watching this video. Subscribe, hit the like, comment below, and I will see you in one of my next videos.